Jarod Gray. I am with Jordan Rains and the Dynasty Chef, Steve, for the IDP 411. How you doing, guys?
Good morning. Here to break down some of the action from yesterday and last night. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing excellent today. How are you?
Awesome. We had well, we're gonna kind of keep this theme of the show same as last week. We're gonna do some studs and duds. Talk about some relevant injuries. This week was awesome. We had a ton of studs this week. A ton
Oh
of
yeah,
guys
bunch
that
of
went
guys.
off.
I feel like this week was much better than last week.
Yeah, it definitely was. We had our rankings went up. We had a lot of guys that we had ranked in our top 24 that came through for us, and especially in the safety area, we had a few in the wide or not linebacker section too. Defensive line was a little quieter this week than normal, but
Yeah,
um,
I mean the stud and dud wise. I mean, definitely a lot to talk about. There's only a few injuries this week though.
yeah, go ahead and just hit us with those injuries, get them out of
Uh,
the way, and we'll just
biggest
move
one,
in.
biggest one for sure. I would have to go is Adrian Phillips. Broke his arm. Huge loss. Now they've lost
Mm,
both their studs at safety, and guess we'll see what they ended.
Yeah, Adderley only played 1% of snaps or 2% of snaps this last week, and 2 weeks ago he's done like nothing. But I bet he's going to be hot this next week. He'll probably play a ton of snaps
Well, you had the
because
other kid,
James
Fox,
is
they were
gone.
Raiders. Yeah.
So he's got definitely if he's on your waiver wires, guys, just go make sure you go snatch him up if he's available. He should have a big role increase this next week.
Yeah, that was the biggest one. We have a few others real quick. Joey Bosa had a lower leg injury, questionable for week three. Like we always say, Joey Bosa is always questionable. So,
mm, mm,
He should.
always questionable.
it's questionable.
Yo,
Okay.
that was a little rude. That was a
It's
little.
true
Anybody,
though.
anybody with the last name Bosa is always questionable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't trust the Boses, man. I just something about that.
Well,
I
for
like him. Don't
yeah,
get
I
me
mean
wrong.
they're
I like
talented.
him. Hmm.
To Joey's credit, he still played like 80 something percent of snaps. He had 6 tackles. He didn't quite make it into our studs or dud section. His brother Nick will be in the dud section. He didn't do shit yesterday,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
Until
It's funny.
further notice.
It's funny because
Hmm.
I dropped him last week. Mid game after he had his sack, and I was like, "Nope, I'm seeing what's going on here." And I needed another guy. Hopefully, Sheldon balls out tonight because I need that to happen.
Hmm.
Well, the other guy, which maybe Bosa will start. Nick Bosa will start playing well because D Ford got a quad injury.
Yeah, they say it's nothing
Nothing
serious.
serious, but we'll see how that goes out with him. Who knows what's
He didn't put a lot on paper week one, but he was definitely in the backfield a lot. So hopefully he's nicked up all training camp too. So hopefully this isn't. Hopefully he hasn't caught the Bosa curse.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not a fan of the Boses in that aspect. But now we've got um, quite a few injuries.
Any other major ones for IDP or?
No- Nothing big. I mean, it seems like uh, not a whole lot of big injuries. But Adrian Phillips, I mean, he's going to be gone for a while. There's a lot of big offensive
Hmm.
injuries, but IDP wise, we haven't had that many big injuries. But
Yeah.
if you want to take it a different route with Drew Brees getting hurt the way he is, every defensive player just became relevant, including
Mhm.
Kiko Alonso because Klein left the game yesterday. So Kiko Alonso finally got to play towards the end of the game, get a little more showtime. Obviously he hasn't been there, so he doesn't really know the playbook.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
he
we're
barely missed a pass in the end zone for an interception. I mean, finger tipped it
nice.
and being a touchdown, but very, very close for him.
Yeah, the Saints defense should see a lot more play time. I don't
Hmm.
Teddy two-handed gloves is not a it's not the answer. I don't think.
Yeah, you're
That
definitely
whole
going to see,
team.
um, with the injuries that have happened, you're going to see Jalen Watkins come up. Desmond King definitely played quite a bit yesterday, as well as Rayshon Jenkins for the
Chargers.
Chargers. So,
All right, well
Diego. So
let's jump into the
let's get to the
studs
good portion.
and duds. We have a ton of studs this week. It was a huge week for safeties. I mean, massive, honestly. I'll just go ahead and I'll read off the list here real quick, and then we'll come back and dissect them. But studs this week at safety included Ronnie Harrison, played 100% of snaps, 8 tackles and a sack. Jarrod Wilson, his little homie in the back in there, 8 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a pass defended. Landon Collins, 12 tackles, 100% of snaps, 9 solo tackles, and a tackle for loss. And then his homie, Montae Nickleson, 9 tackles, 1 pass defended.
You called that Montae Nickleson.
Yeah, I did. I'll read off. I'll come back and read off what I got for their rankings this week. I had Ronnie Harrison at 15 and Jarod Wilson at 22 this week. They came through big for me. I had Landon Collins and Montae Nickleson at 6th and 17th, respectively. They came through big. Another stud, Terrell Edmonds, 100% of snaps, 8 solo tackles, 11 total tackles. I had him at 19th this week on my list. Antoine Bethea, 99% of snaps, 10 tackles. I had him at 11 this week.
I'm all in on Bethea. I mean,
I kind of missed on Peppers this week. He missed a few tackles. He's one of my bigger misses, but I hit a lot of other guys.
Yeah, he actually had 3 missed tackles, all over it, and he missed it.
But Bethea came back and helped him out. We got Harrison Smith. I had him at 4 this week, I think, or 3rd this week. He had 6 tackles, a pass defended, and a fumble recovery, so that helped boost his score up there. We had Tracy Walker make the list last week. I was a little hesitant to play him, but I thought that, the upside was there, and he came through big again, 10 tackles.
Sure did.
I had him at 11th this week. I missed on the safeties for the Bengals. Both Bates and Williams didn't make my top 24 this week, which was kind of an oversight on my part. Another guy I missed this week on that list was Keanu Neal. They all came through with 96% of snaps for Keanu Neal, 9 total tackles, 8 solo. And then Bates and Sean Williams had 10 and 9 each, played 100% of snaps. I missed on them. But then Budda Baker had 97% of snaps, 11 tackles. That dude's an absolute beast. If he's a locked-in DB1 every week for me. Eddie Jackson popped up yesterday with 10 tackles, 2 passes defended, 96% of snaps. Justin Simmons, 100% of snaps, 9 tackles, 8 solo. Had him ranked at 20th this week. John Johnson, 100% of snaps, 6 tackles, a pass defended, and an INT, which was a really, really good interception. That play was awesome. I don't know if you guys saw that, where they kind of juggled around and it was rolling off his shoulder and he grabbed it while he was laying on the ground and it got the INT.
He actually almost knocked it into him, right? So
I don't remember who actually knocked the ball out. It was some other corner. But it was like rolling off like 3 bodies, and John Johnson just like shoved it into his shoulder cavity and just like held onto it and got the INT.
Yeah, I was sitting there watching. I was like, that was John Johnson, wasn't it? Like, just continues to ball out.
Yeah, just these big plays, and I had him ranked at 2nd this week. And like I said earlier, Keanu Neal, 9 tackles, 8 solo. I didn't have him on my list this week. That was an oversight on me.
Oops. I like your rank for him. Oops.
Yeah. And then Vernon Hartgraves, 12 tackles, 11 solo. That was on the Thursday night game.
I called he's going to be a player of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So which of these guys we had some tandems go off this week at safety. I mean, Harrison and Wilson for the Jags. Collins and Nickleson both went off for the Redskins.
And then Bates and Williams.
And then Bates and Williams both went off.
Bates and Williams are going to blow up as long as the defensive line just kind of staggers.
Mm-hmm.
Which overall they did, except for Hubbard, who had 6 tackles.
Mm-hmm.
But they reverted back to last year's defense instead of
these guys
week 1 defense.
That's probably what they're going to be too.
Well, it helped they were on the field a lot, and it helped that the 49ers were actually able to sustain some of their drives, which they had a little bit of trouble with the week before.
Yeah.
The 49ers are 2-0 on the road.
Yeah, 49ers their offense is coming everywhere for them. I mean, you guys saw Raheem Mostert had a couple of big plays. Matt Breida had a few big plays. That Jeff Wilson dude pounded the rock in. So they were kind of boat racing Cincinnati, honestly.
With our safeties, and we got so many good corners and safeties that did well this week.
Yeah.
Jordan Poyer shit the bed.
Yeah, he had a
in
late
comparison.
INT, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
what's his only saving grace? Because he really
Mhm.
didn't do much. Not, and don't get me wrong, it was clutch, which that's who Jordan Poyer is.
Well, it's
But
funny. The whole Buffalo defense didn't really do a whole lot yesterday.
mm-mm.
Milano, I mean, he was okay.
Okay, yeah,
Edmonds was
exactly.
okay, but nothing to write home about. They didn't make the studs list this
I
week,
mean, Trent Murphy had
unfortunately.
an interception off of an Ed Oliver pass deflection, by the way.
I saw that. Yeah, your boy
Mhm.
Ed, old
So
Eddie,
I need him
Eddie
to step
Money.
up a little more.
Rest in peace,
But,
Eddie Money. By the
oh
way,
man, that's crazy.
Oh man, that is so sad.
I know
I'm so sad. I love Eddie Money.
Hope they don't take me home tonight for
Yeah.
this.
we
One of my
listened to him at work
favorites.
on Friday for a good bit.
Yeah, man, this safeties just went kind of bonkers. I mean, if you really
Yeah.
look at it,
I mean, we're
just-
looking at double-digit tackles for a lot of guys this week at safety, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you want. And I guess Keanu Neal, again, I apologize, he didn't make my top 24 guys. That was on me, which I put my rankings out last week. But he had a huge bounce back, 8 solos and 9 total tackles, 96% of snaps, back to stud status. I mean, I don't think anybody really doubted it.
I feel like there was a missed pass deflection because I know late in the game he came in clutch, and I don't think they got him with a pass deflection,
Hmm.
but it definitely hit his right arm. And I was like, "Oh, that's a pass deflection." I'm just sitting there the whole night waiting for it to come up, and I'm like,
And it didn't.
"Okay, I guess it doesn't."
Well, I threw something on my Twitter yesterday about Buda Baker having a forced fumble, but I didn't see that anywhere in the box score that I was looking back at it. But I remember watching it happen. I don't know. I guess it got called back. I was watching Red Zone yesterday. I was home with both the kids, so I couldn't go to my buddy's house where we could watch the actual Sunday ticket. So I was kind of just gridlocked into whatever Red Zone was showing me, which Red Zone's still good. I mean, they got that heat over there.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I like red zone, definitely, especially fantasy purposes wise.
Yeah. Who are a couple of guys on here that on the studs list that most surprised you? For me,
Well,
I'll go first. I think Eddie Jackson surprised me. He's not really a big tackle producer. Last year, he made his hay on a lot of interceptions and big plays for IDP, but getting 10 tackles was good to see for him.
Well, Vernon Hargraves, and you can mark this down, will not have a week like that again.
Yeah.
I mean, I said this Thursday night, he had literally a quarter of his tackles Monday night for his career. Or sorry, Thursday night. He will not do that again. I mean, 11 solo tackles out of a cornerback is ridiculous,
Pretty incredible.
especially and an interception, right? I'm pretty sure he had a pick too. So, yeah, he planted his flag, and nobody expect that. And we talked about that Friday, and it was just bonkers. I just couldn't believe it. He's my biggest one. The other names are guys that we've been talking about. Jarrod Wilson, for me, is actually another one that kind of came out of nowhere. 8 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and a pass deflection. That was a big game for him. I don't know if he's going to pull that off again.
Every week.
Mhm.
Yeah, those they're good though. I mean, they're one of those tandems. It's kind of fun being an IDP because on the offensive side you get these guys like Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. They're pretty rare, but on the other side of the ball, IDP side, you can get these safety tandems that are that can put up numbers like that together. I mean, we have Jesse Bates and Sean Williams this week, Jarod Wilson and Ronnie Harrison and Landon Collins and Montae Nickleson. And honestly, Bethea had 10 tackles. I mean, Jabril Peppers didn't blow up, but he didn't have a bad game either. I think he had 6 or 7 tackles, and he missed a couple. So, I mean, that's still a good week.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Jarrod Wilson having the week that he had, being 8 tackles and a pass deflection. I mean, he had 5 tackles the week before.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess he's pretty consistent at this point. I mean, we can say that. I mean, he's
Oh,
got
yeah.
13 tackles.
He's you can play him every week, I think, without hesitation, especially with the 100% snaps.
Yeah, he's definitely got it. Looks like he's without a doubt going to be playing. I mean, especially in that position. So
yeah, Tracy Walker came through 2
Tracy
weeks in a
Walker.
row with 10 tackles. I think it's I put him at 13 this week, but I did mention on our live stream yesterday. I was I was a little hesitant. I wasn't super confident, but I felt like you could, and he delivered. And next week, when people ask, I'm going to be a little bit more confident and say, you know,
Ready to trust him now?
Yeah, I mean, what if he might go out there and throw up 6 or 7, but knowing that he can go back-to-back 10 tackle weeks, I mean, that's, you know,
That's big. I mean, but he's also going against 2 teams that are tossing it, you know, so that's that's the biggest thing. I mean, once you get a guy that is getting to play like that, then you got to give him an opportunity to. I mean, I've seen him get picked up more times than we want to talk about already.
I liked seeing Justin Simmons pop up on this list this week too. He was a little bit lower on the tackle production last week, but he had 8 solo tackles this week. Dynamite. 9 total. I had him ranked. Kareem Jackson didn't make our list, which was
Kareem Jackson dudded it this week. I mean, if you want, they basically switched roles from, you know, Justin Simmons was a top 15 safety last year. I think it was even top 10, and then Kareem Jackson just kind of held back. I mean, he had a pass deflection at the end of the game that was very clutch. Thought he was going to get the pick.
Man, that Denver-Chicago game was insanity.
I think we needed after last week's, you know, late game. We needed another late game.
Yeah, I was happy. I mean, I'm looking forward to texting my buddy later today and telling him, you know, how clutch Mitchell Trubisky is, even though he's not. Like, did you see that pass? It's like right over the middle of the field to Allen Robinson. Did you see that?
Oh my gosh, dude.
That was such a crazy game. And then when that dude nailed that field goal, I mean, he probably felt like such a rock star.
Oh, for sure, dude.
You thought they won the Super Bowl the way everybody was like, what?
Yeah,
but, I mean, that was an emotional roller coaster the last 2 minutes of that game, between Flacco driving it down there, actually scoring, between them screwing up the 2-point, then the Chicago screwed up the kick, and then they went for the 2-point again. I mean, I was just like, whoa.
Here we go. Yeah, that was a fun game to watch overall.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun to watch.
100%.
I like to see games end like that. I mean, and we got a few good endings yesterday. I mean, 2 teams went for it to win at the end, and
Jacksonville didn't get it, but they sure went for it.
You know why they lost that game?
Why?
They took it out of the mustache's hands.
Well, you know, it's funny. A guy that I did have ranked high this week while we're talking about that was Justin Reed, who only had 4 tackles. He only played 88% of snaps, but it is worth noting he was in that very last play where Fournette was trying to pound it in for that 2-point conversion. It was Justin Reed who made that stop.
I needed that because I had Justin Reed and Kareem Jackson. They both stuck it up for me overall. And I had Jesse Bates on the bench, by the way. Sorry, guys.
So even though he might not have had a great fantasy day, I mean, he was a playmaker, and he helped them win that game yesterday. So
in my defense yesterday, I knew I was going to play Hubbard, so I couldn't play Bates and Hubbard. So I have a weird feeling about playing 2 defensive players back to back. I guess unless you have Sean Williams and Jesse Bates, and you don't have anybody else. But having Justin Reed, Kareem Jackson, and Jesse Bates for me, one of them had to sit, and I was playing Hubbard. 6 tackles, no big deal.
Yeah,
nothing great. But.
Well, I guess we can. We kind of picked through who we thought were the really good studs this week at DB safety. Let's go ahead and jump in. I'll read off some of the linebacker studs for the week.
One of these guys just bonkers.
A lot of these guys went off this week. So we had Zach Cunningham, played 73% of snaps yesterday, had 10 tackles, all solo, 1 tackle for a loss, and a sack.
Yeah,
that was a huge day. I had him ranked at 23rd this week. You know, he went out there and produced. The crazy thing is the 73% of snaps.
Yeah.
And he had 10 solo tackles.
Yeah, let that dude ball out.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't play him 100% of snaps, but I feel like
old.
Zach Cunningham.
They didn't need to.
Yeah. Then we had Jordan Hicks again, another big week for him. 10 tackles.
Tried to trade for him, just couldn't happen.
11 tackles, 1 pass deflection, 100% of snaps. Jalen Smith, 100% of snaps, 11 tackles. Jayon Brown, 96% of snaps, 10 tackles, 8 solo, and a pass deflection. Thomas Davis again, 12 tackles, 100% of snaps. Preston Brown, this one kind of threw me for a loop. 86% of snaps, 14 tackles.
We've been talking about him. Forgot who brought him up a couple weeks ago to you and me.
Yeah, it was the week 1 live show. Somebody was asking about him.
Yep. And ever since then, I've
Had
been
an eye
all
on
over
him.
him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I started him. I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of weak at linebacker in one of my groups. I'm like, I'm gonna go check see if Preston Brown's available. No one got him. Had a decent week first week, and this week he went bonkers.
Mhm.
So yeah, he is definitely a guy. I mean, he's just the focal point in that defense. I mean, as long as Hubbard does what he's supposed to do, Preston Brown's going to do what he's going to do. And then you got 2 great safeties in the background, young great safeties at that. So
Yep.
Preston
And
Brown
then-
balled out for him.
Yeah, moving on down, I had Jerome Baker had 96% of snaps. He had 12 tackles. I had him ranked at LB 12 this week.
You called that one.
Yep, Roquan Smith, 100% of snaps, 13 tackles, 9 solo. Had him at LB 10.
That was a big bounce back for Roquan Smith.
Yeah, he needed that. Well, the next guy on this list, his homie, Danny Trevathan, I mean, basically the same thing. He had 100% of snaps, 12 tackles, 9 solo. I had him at LB 24 this week.
You and I had a big conversation about this early in the season. Like, if you want the best, cheapest buy
At
in IDP,
linebacker.
it's Danny Trevathan because Roquan is so high. I mean,
Yep.
and they put up very solo, very comparison.
Yeah, and he's you can tell he's a leader on that team just by the way he carries himself, by the way he's talks to guys on that team. He's going to be great for developing Roquan into even more of a beast than he is. We have Blake Martinez, 100% of snaps, 13 tackles, had him at 6th this week at linebacker. Darius Leonard, 100% of snaps, 10 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. It was good to see him get right. I had him as LB5 this week. Luke Kuechly, 100% of snaps, 17 tackles on that Thursday night game. I had him at LB4 this week. And then honorable mention here, he balled out, but I don't think anybody played him, was Jamie Collins, 56% of snaps, 5 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a touchdown. So that ended up giving him a huge game.
I'm one of those guys that played Jamie Collins.
Really?
So let me tell you why.
Why?
I had an injury to a player, and I was like, man, who do I play here? I'm like, well, we all know that the Patriots are going to run all over these boys. I'm like, what's the chances that we may get a pick or two? Like, I got to play somebody here, and I don't have anybody. So I'll just throw Jamie Collins in, and he wrecked house for me yesterday.
Yeah, he crushed.
In 56% of snaps, you can't tell me that they can't put him back out there. He's basically the old Collins right back at it again for half the price you were going to have to pay for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That was a big game. I'm still a little hesitant to play him with 56% of snaps, but the big
Belichick
playability is there.
Belichick better start playing the crap out of him.
Well, you better text him and tell him that.
I know. I'll send my dude a message.
Get the direct line out.
Hey,
Pull out the red phone.
Yeah. Up in here.
But man, of these guys on here, I'll tell you who I was really excited to see is Jayon Brown bounce back after kind of a weak performance in week 1. I still had him ranked in my top 24 this week. I had him at LB 21. And he ended up coming through in a big way. 10 tackles, 8 solo, 1 pass deflection. He's a good coverage linebacker.
He's a great coverage linebacker.
Yeah.
And he's calling the plays.
He's going to come down with an interception or 2 before this season's over.
Well, week 1, he literally dropped one right in the basket from Baker on the first play of the game. First play of the game.
Yeah. I don't know. I sat him yesterday, like I said on the show. I was in a weird spot. I was picking between him and Jerome Baker to actually slide in. And I was looking at my rankings, and I was looking at Jerome, and I was like, I'm going to play Jerome Baker just because Jayon Brown let me down a little bit yesterday. They both ended up scoring almost identical amounts of points in the one league that I had. I think it was like a little less than a point difference, but it felt good to have both of them on my team, I'll tell you that.
It was the pass deflection, I think, probably jumped up for you. Because Jerome Baker had 12 tackles, 1 had 10 tackles. The pass deflection for Jayon Brown made it that much closer. That's all it was.
Yep.
Yeah, bro. Jayon Brown balled out. He's almost an everyday starter for me. And I would hate to tell you my group of linebackers because you would not be happy with me. I kind of
good or that bad.
I have Corey Littleton, Jayon Brown. Who else do I have on this list? Leighton Van Resch, who's my dud of the week, by the way. He totally let me down.
Yeah, he did
And
not
I have
have a
Danny
great
Trevathan.
game.
So I have Jam Brown, Danny Trevathan, Leighton Van Resch, and Corey Littleton.
What do
So
you guys think about Darius Leonard? It seems like, I mean, he had the sack, that's good. 10 tackles, that's good. Tackle for loss, but that's not, I mean, when you drafted Darius Leonard, you didn't want good, you wanted great.
you and me talked
I
about this
didn't
the other day.
draft Darius Leonard.
Yeah, me either. I'm saying whoever's listening to this and did that, what are we going to tell these people? I mean, you still
What?
roll him out as a
Took him too
LB1 with
early?
confidence. You took him too early.
Well,
You made a huge mistake.
Well, this is the real thing. I watched him go in one of our drafts that we had. He went second in the second round.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you guys are messing up. Okay,
Yep.
I will start going crazy around round 5 on IDP leagues. But here's the thing. He had a great week, and you and me have said this from the beginning. He has got a lot more around him now, right? And that teams aren't going to try to battle. It's going to be like a in the trenches battle with the Colts now that Jacoby Brissett's the quarterback. And he's a viable quarterback. Let's not get that twisted. But he's not Andrew Luck. So he's not going to get those 12 pass deflections and 7 sacks that he had last year.
Yeah.
He might. I mean, he might, guys, but he ain't going to have – I don't think – he's not going to lead the league
Like
in
you
tackles.
said, the defense around him is much better this year too.
Yep. Adding Justin Houston's a huge deal for them.
Yeah.
And so if you want my opinion, you can probably sell him really high right now still and get maybe a double dipper. Somebody that's, you know what, how about I give you, dude, Thomas Davis is a must grab. My honest opinion, any guy's playing 100% snaps and getting 12 tackles a game. With Leonard, I will give you this. Leonard is going to give you a sack. He's so athletic, and he's probably going to get a pass deflection or interception. Maybe I said earlier in the season, maybe 5 interceptions. I think we all talked about that. He's going to drop down a little bit. I don't think he's going to have the sacks he had last year. And to have 7 sacks as an inside linebacker or outside linebacker is kind of nuts, especially when you're a coverage linebacker at that. So in that aspect, I think he's going to drop off. But I also think that's where you have to look at. You could sell him high and maybe get 2 guys for him. And some people are still bonkers about him. You might get a lot more than you really, really expect out of him. You might get 3 starters for him.
It's crazy sometimes what a name will get you.
Yep. I mean, and if you're me, if you can get if you could get Jalen Smith, Thomas Davis, some people are good. You might have that combination because most people weren't real high on Thomas Davis. Blake Martinez is obviously a number 1 starter, so everybody's got him. But I mean, I tried to get Luke Kuechly this week and I couldn't grab him from somebody. He offered me some weak trade, and I was like, "How about Luke Kuechly?" And he's like, "I don't think I can let him go yet." Dang it!
All right, I'm looking at some stuff now. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I'm looking at apparently Budda Baker did have a forced fumble.
I thought so.
And apparently Minkah Fitzpatrick had a forced fumble and a fumble recovery too.
Yeah, so you and me talked about that.
So we need to throw Minkah Fitzpatrick. He needs to go in the studs for this week. I didn't really realize that looking at this now. He played a lot more snaps this week too. He played 94% of snaps. So I don't know if they were showcasing him. I don't know what the deal was, but for IDP purposes, he's still a stud.
I highlight him for a trade.
Yeah, I put it earlier in this week. I don't know what day I put it on Twitter that the Dallas Cowboys are in talks with the Miami Dolphins for Minkah Fitzpatrick if they can pull it off. And they need defensive back help. I mean, I get Xavier Woods is balling out, guys, but they're pretty thin overall, and it would be awesome to put Minkah right next to him. That would be scary, actually. I think that would be a big deal for them because then they would have a good back four. They have arguably the best linebacking core in football between Jalen Smith and LVE. And then if they can shore up that front line, also I know they're in trade talks with Taco to get rid of Taco Charlton. So maybe he's one of the conversations there. Because let's be real, Miami is trash.
Yeah.
They're just going to get steamrolled all year long by everybody.
I think people on Twitter were like, oh, Minka's not worth the first or second or whatever. I'm like, I don't know. I think Minkah is he's a good player. I mean, Is he great? No, he's not. Is he elite? No. Is he good? Is he better than probably 70% of the safeties in the league? Yeah.
So I would disagree. I think he is elite. The biggest thing about him is, and they did it in college. He played every single position.
Mm-hmm.
He played linebacker. He played nickel corner, strong safety, and free safety in college. Oh, because he's so versatile, which where Shaq Thompson used to be, and then he basically just got bigger and decided to put him at linebacker. I think he's going to be one of those guys. He's just a really tall safety, so he could be Cam Chancellor for the next 10 years. And if I can have that guy on my team, I'm going to go get him. So if if the Cowboys can figure something out, hey, let's give you Taco Charlton, who's not really doing anything for us, and I'll give you a first or second rounder, probably a second rounder and Taco Charlton. That would be
Speaking
awesome
of the
for
Cowboys, Dak Prescott is playing on another fucking level this year.
Well, yeah, he's trying to get paid, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's succeeding. I mean, he looks good. Like
He looks much better than he has the last couple of years.
Yeah.
To be honest,
he really, really has. I mean,
He's
I've been the
being much
biggest.
more accurate.
I've been a big Dak hater for the past 3 seasons, but he's the last 3 games he's played, these last 2, and then the last one he played last year, or not maybe not the very last one, but the one he played against the Giants last year. I mean, he's just storming the gates every week now. It's no more timid Dak, hand it off, looking for the Jason Witten outlet.
First 2 weeks.
Huh?
Carson Wentz balled out against the Redskins.
Yeah. Well, hey, I
What
mean,
Carson Wentz do yesterday?
Carson Wentz is hurt again. Apparently, it looked like he hurt himself. They
Well,
had
Deion-
Josh
Deion
McCown.
I
Jones.
mean, he's always questionable too.
Deion Jones checked those ribs yesterday.
Yeah. Any other linebackers? I guess while we're talking about the Cowboys, Jalen Smith had 100% of snaps yesterday compared to Leighton Vander Esch's 89%. And Jalen Smith had 11 tackles, guys. I had him as my LB9 on the week. I had LVE as my LB1. He definitely let me down, but Jalen Smith came through in a big way for y'all.
Yeah, John Smith went bonkers. Leighton Vander Esch, like I said, for me, he definitely dropped the ball. Not a fan. Was really upset with him yesterday. I might still pull off a victory, maybe, if Sheldon Richardson balls out tonight.
Nah, I need Ogajobi to get that work tonight, boy. Ogajobi. I was just looking at a couple of my MFL leagues. I have one league where it's play all, and I think I'm in like 8th or 9th place right now. But I've got Garrett, Ogajobi, and one other, I don't remember who, Jamal Adams playing. So I'm definitely going to hopefully skyrocket up a little bit. Yeah.
Jamal Adams going to get that work tonight.
Actually, I'm in a lot of matchups where a lot of stuff comes down to the night. Nick Chubb for me and against me in a couple of places. Baker Mayfield for me and against me in a couple of places.
I hate
I'm hoping that
you're rooting for and against.
I need him to just get 18 points, but not more than 25. Let's do that. Like, we have a very specific outline of what I need from you today.
I've really decided, I think next year, and I'm going to pretty much throw this out, is I'm probably going to go with my 3 IDP leagues next year. And I've been in this one league for like 10 years, 11 years. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell them, like, listen, if you're not going to do more than 1 IDP, which is driving me bonkers, and you guys don't change the format, then
why even do it?
Like, that's and I've been IDP. Here the whole time. Like, let's make this interesting. Like, if I'm doing a show and 3 podcasts a week for this stuff, let me. You guys can't let me do this stupid stuff. So
yeah, 1 player, that's no fun.
Yeah, not fun. So maybe I can talk him into it. I mean, he is family, so if he's not, then just sandwich.
Let's talk about a few of these edge rushers, these D linemen that went off this week. Some relevant to IDP, some maybe working their way into relevancy. Well, Daniil Hunter, first off, he had 89% of snaps, 9 tackles. 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, and 3 quarterback hits. That's huge week for him. I had him as my DL3. I mean, he crushed. I mean, he's definitely going to be a top 3 defensive lineman this week. Danico Autry, defensive end for the Colts. 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. We had Stephon Tuitt last night, or yesterday afternoon, I guess. 71% of snaps, 4 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. Going back to Thursday, Shaq Barrett, who's a linebacker technically, but he's an edge rusher linebacker. He had 3 tackles, 3 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. Chris Jones actually got some work yesterday. He had 83% of snaps, 5 tackles, a sack, a pass defended. TJ Watt, 89% of snaps, 6 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. That's coming off of his groin injury.
See Zach that TJ Watt had?
I think I did. I don't really remember. There was a lot going on in
Bro.
that game. It seemed like they were sacking Russell Wilson all the time.
Like a bullet. I mean, he came in scot-free. Nobody even, like, Russell Wilson didn't even see this until the deer in the headlights happened. He just murdered him, bro.
Nice.
Oh, dude.
Murdered him. He looked great. And you've been high on TJ Watt this whole time, so.
Yeah, I love him.
Wasn't there one on Big Ben that happened the same way? They just let him right through, and I thought it was D Ford that did the same thing.
I don't think D Ford had any production yesterday. They didn't play them yesterday either.
No, you're right.
Who did the Steelers play? The Steelers played the Seahawks.
Play Seahawks. Who was it then I was thinking of? I thought I saw somebody come tearing in there, just took him out.
Who knows?
I don't know.
I don't have it written down here.
I got hurt, so, I mean.
Yeah. We had Cameron Jordan also. He had 83% of snaps, 5 tackles, all solo, 1 sack, and then he had a touchdown called back on some BS.
That was BS because it was definitely a touchdown.
I hate the Saints as much as anybody, but I mean, I know that should have been a touchdown for him.
So, how long before they changed that rule?
Oh, I don't know. They even reviewed it and they messed it up.
You know, that happened a few times yesterday.
Yeah, that happened to Patrick Mahomes, too. They reviewed one of his something that he did, and they called it a fumble, and he didn't fumble. He was throwing it, but it's weird. Like, if they make the call on the field, they usually stick with it, even if it's like, well, it's not clear and obvious. It's like, well, it's pretty clear and pretty obvious. But,
yeah, it was rough to watch. And for me, I actually traded Cameron Jordan away yesterday or last week. But I was trying to get CMC, who went full on done against me. So, I mean, Cameron Jordan. I mean, if you really look at the Texans, did a good job by shutting him down week 1. He had 1 big sack. After that, he didn't play phenomenal. He had a decent week in the first half, and then after that, they shut him down in the second half. But man, Cameron Jordan looked unstoppable yesterday. He looked really good.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and get some duds because we had some D-line duds yesterday, and they kind of take up most of the duds list. We had DeMarcus Lawrence put up a big old 0 on 74% of snaps. Aaron Donald, I think he had, again, 1 tackle or 2 yesterday.
He was getting a lot of quarterback pressure, but also then he got, he broke. He looks like he broke Breeze's hand.
Yeah, and somebody said that he was clutching his back. Apparently, he might not be 100%.
He left with a back injury. Did not return.
Yikes!
So
I only have him in 1 league, thankfully.
That's a 2-week dud for him.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row he's let you down, and you probably paid up for him. Leighton Vander Esch, 89% of snaps. We talked about him, right? I think he had 6 tackles or something there. Justin Reed, 88% of snaps. I think he had 4 or 5 tackles. He did have that big goal line stuff of Fournette for them to win that game. Patrick Onzwar had him ranked pretty high this week. He played 100% of snaps, but he only had 4 tackles, which is kind of weird. Von Miller, 95% of snaps, only 2 tackles. And Bradley Chubb, 100% of snaps, only 5 tackles against a Chicago line that's not great. So I'm a little worried about them. Like we said earlier, we said already last week, we're a little worried about Aaron Donald, which, is blasphemy, but now it's starting to look like, with the injury now and the fact that he's not produced, I mean, it's kind of good that we didn't invest in him.
Yeah, and we've been talking about it, and, we brought up this is probably going to be the 5th or 6th time we brought this up, but Aaron Donald losing the Ndamukong Suh has hurt him, and it's very evident to me.
Yeah, it's very obvious.
Pressure, but they only have to focus on him now. They don't have to focus on everybody else. And you're seeing the same thing with J.J. Watt. Clowney's gone. He's not doing a whole lot. He had a fumble recovery, but he really was just in a good position.
Yeah, he had a fumble recovery and 2 tackles, but he played 99% of snaps yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, if you're them, how are you going to let him not play?
You got to have more production than that if you're an elite defensive end playing 99% of snaps. Sorry.
Yeah, they squeaked one out yesterday. They need to do something to help him out.
Oh, yeah, and Jacksonville could have won that game. I mean, they were a breath away, which is crazy. Yeah, that
Inches.
Minshew guy, he's legit.
Yeah, Gardner Minshew's real deal.
Yep, I'm gonna get
You
his
just like
tattoo on
you
my
just like what he
chest.
wears.
Oh yeah, the dude's
Straight
the
stud.
hotness right now. Yeah, absolutely. I'll put my money on him every time.
You look like he came straight out the 70s.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Mm.
Jarod Payne getting a lot of fucking snaps yesterday.
Yeah, I had snap count observations. I'll just read those off real quick. Sam Hubbard up again, 89% of snaps. That's huge. Hubbard's like again, he's going to be a DL1 every week for me if he keeps his snap percentage up. He even had 6 tackles, which wasn't nothing world shattering, but you had
6
stack
tackles
onto
out of
that.
defensive lineman.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty good. Minka Fitzpatrick, 94% of snaps, had the forced fumble, had 6 tackles. Quentin Jefferson had 89% of snaps yesterday compared to Clowney's 68%. And then Daron Payne had 91% of snaps for the Redskins yesterday. Didn't do a whole hell of a lot with it, but that's a lot of snaps for a sophomore defensive tackle coming out. So I think he's going to be a useful player. And when he does boom, finally, it's going to be a big boom.
Yeah, kind of nuts. We'll see a lot of work out of those guys and see what they can do. This is probably going to be one of our better stud weeks. I mean, it's kind of nuts how many people went off week 2.
Yeah.
Usually, week 1, because guys the defense usually reigns supreme week 1. But man, it's to see some of the players on this list obviously some names you're expecting like Blake Martinez, Roquan Smith, Luke Kuechly, Darius Leonard. I expect those guys to be on the list all the week, every week. I expect Deion Brown to be on there. If you haven't been listening to me and Jordan on this, we've been preaching Deion Brown 5 weeks ago in the preseason. Even before that, before even training camp started, because Deion Brown was in most leagues was over 200 points in IDP. So in one of my leagues, he was 300-point IDP. So
he's cheap.
And he mega cheap, and he ain't going to be cheap much longer, guys.
No, he's definitely not. I had to play against him this week, but I ended up beating that guy, it looks like. A guy we haven't really talked about but is doing well for IDP right now is Whitney Merciless.
Oh, Merciless had a great game yesterday, though. 2 sacks.
2 sacks. He has 3 sacks on the season now, 3.5 tackles for loss, 4 QB hits, which, he's on a pace for almost, 4 times 2? He's on pace for like 30-ish QB hits, it looks like. And I don't think he'll actually get that, but without Clowney, maybe he's going to actually get that work.
And that's a big thing. J.J. Watt's more just of a standstill. If they're going to double team J.J. Watt, Merciless is going to be the one guy that you would expect to ball out from that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he's a guy to really come look at now. Maybe
he might be a high upside, IDP flex guy that you can count on. I don't see if I had his snap counts in here or not. His snap percentage. He played pretty high percentage of snaps. I don't have that right in front of me, but I know it was pretty high.
Yeah, he definitely had a big game. Continues to play really well. So, like I'm telling you, if you own Aaron Donald,
he had 96% of snaps yesterday.
See, Merciless might be a guy to really look at this point.
Mm-hmm.
As much double team as J.J. Watt's getting, it's just a good idea.
He might be a guy. If you can flip Aaron Donald on his name value right now and get yourself a decent player, and then go get Merciless off of waivers.
All right,
find a way to slot him in.
Since we're talking about it, Merciless, I'm going to get an over/under 12 sacks
for the season. I'm gonna take the over.
Mm-hmm.
I like it too.
Go with it.
I follow him on Twitter. There's a couple of guys on Twitter I've followed for a while that are kind of not like smaller name guys, but they're defensive ends or defensive players that are just kind of like, middle of the pack. And he's always posted. He's all summer long. He was posting, the pictures, guys like I'm grinding, I'm working, by himself, but he's just like constantly putting stuff up about how he's trying to get better. So I think he was kind of preparing to go into that more full-time role with Clowney all summer, and I think that he has shown that he prepared himself well for that.
Yep. So over/under, I think we all three are on the over at 12 sacks. So
especially at the pace he's at right now, he only needs what?
He's on. Yeah. Well, now he's on pace for what he needs. If he gets 10 sacks over the next 14 games,
he's there. And he's hit double-digit sacks before, something that Jadeveon Clowney has never done. So
Yep. So watch out. Maybe he's in a good position with everybody
Mm-hmm.
double teaming JJ Watt, and if they start
Definitely
to
keep
back
your
off,
eye
and
on him.
JJ Watt will finally start balling out. But we've called this, both guys. Watch out, JJ Watt and Aaron Donald. Sell high because of who they lost,
Mm-hmm.
and do it now because you're not. In about 3 weeks, I'm not touching him. So I'll let you know where.
Ryan Kerrigan had a little bit of a get right game. He had a sack, a couple of tackles. I saw. Matt Ioannidis played 86% of snaps for Washington. I'm just kind of running off some names here. He didn't have huge production, but I think he's going to come on a little bit stronger in the next week or two, and he'll probably be in our stud section here before too long.
Yeah, there's some good groups. A lot of guys making finally really coming up for themselves.
Making a name for themselves.
I mean, Darius Leonard finally had a game, get right game, which was nice for him because he needed it. Because I know somebody in my league that has him. That he's a good fantasy football guy. You guys know Brandon. He's not real high on him right now. Which hopefully he doesn't continue to listen to our pods because maybe I'll try to get him cheap.
Devin Bush only played 80% of snaps yesterday, which I found not like troubling or concerning, but I wish he could get out there for 100% of snaps. I'm not really sure why he's not. You guys saw the forced fumble
Yeah,
that he had. He almost had that touchdown. I mean, he's a playmaker. I mean, he needs to be out there for every snap. I mean, increase his chances of doing stuff like that.
He just continues to play well. They need to give that kid more of a shot. And 70% of snaps. Yeah, that's not enough.
Not even close. Next week, I'm hoping he pushes into the 90s.
I mean, let's hope. I mean,
either way, I'm still playing him. I mean, I played him this week, and he still produced for you, even though he did, And that's the thing about him. Like I said on the live the other day, or I might have said it on the Friday show. He's like Leighton Vander Esch. I mean, even if he's not playing all the snaps, he's going to produce, and he really did come through yesterday. And I wish I could see what he could do with 100% of snaps.
So I was thinking about a guy that we were talking about a surprise for me. I'm going to give you somebody real quick.
Let's hear it.
Saron Neal from Buffalo. Okay, over the first 2 games, he has 15 tackles, 7 week 1, 8 yesterday. Had a big game yesterday. So he's got 15 tackles, consistent, right? He's got 4 solo tackles, 11 solo tackles, 4 assists, including a forced fumble yesterday. So he's and a sack, I believe. Did he have a sack yesterday?
And this is who again? This is the guy from Buffalo.
Saron Neal, SIRANNEAL, number 33 for the Buffalo Bills.
He only played 33% of snaps, but I heard that Micah Hyde was booed yesterday.
My God, he didn't play great yesterday. I mean,
maybe he pushes for more snaps.
I'd like to see it. I mean, maybe somebody got tweaked an injury and he finally started to play a little more. But I mean, he definitely he's kind of like one of those guys that's showing what he's got when he has a chance. So I'd like to see him actually. I'm not saying go grab this guy. I'm just saying keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
So Saron Neal's definitely
somebody to watch.
Keep an eye on. I mean, right now he's top 30 in tackles for the season already, and he's just barely getting a little playing time.
I don't know. Maybe if you got a super deep bench, you can stash him.
Yep. Matt Milano definitely let everybody down yesterday, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't call somebody, if you can get 6 or more tackles, I'm not going to call that a letdown per se. I mean, that's
in comparison,
you were expecting more.
Well, yeah. But I mean, I wasn't expecting him to beat the brakes off of anybody either. But
I was.
Really?
I wanted him to beat the brakes off
I guess
everybody.
it was the Giants, so expected the brakes to be beat off a little bit more.
I wanted him to rip Barkley in half.
Whoa.
That's not going to happen, bro.
I'm a Barkley hater.
Barkley's got that adamantium, bro. I mean, you can't hurt him.
Real. I feel bad for Adrian Phillips, man. He was finally getting his shot. but had another good game and then breaks his arm. He's going to be gone for a while.
I got him in a couple of places. I'm probably in my redrafts. I'm probably going to drop him. Broken arm, that's at least 6 weeks. And then you're not going to be able to play full speed and hit with that arm probably for a couple of weeks even after that. So, I mean, what's that put us? Week 12, 13 before he's maybe back to 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, Nasir Adderley is the play there. He's the rookie. He did good in the preseason when he played. They haven't played him hardly any of the last 2 weeks, but their hands getting forced now. Yeah, guess what? Nasir Adderley is going to be an 80% snap guy, I bet, plus next week.
Well, we hope so. I mean, he's got the other guys. They might, we're talking about somebody they've got 2 huge injuries. If the Chargers want to win now, and they could be, even though they missed 2 field goals here, they end up losing.
I don't know. It's slipping away, man.
So we'll see what happens. We talked about being 0-2 and not making the playoffs. You have a 12% chance of making the playoffs. Going 0-2. The only division I'd say you have a chance to go 0-2 and have a chance to make the playoffs is if you're maybe the Carolina Panthers, because that division is so crazy right now. Especially Drew Brees getting hurt.
Yeah, that changed everything. That might have been why Matt Ryan was on fire last night. I mean, he did throw some picks, but he was taking deep shots. I mean, you saw him hit Calvin Ridley. I mean, Calvin Ridley could have had 2 more 40-yard touchdowns yesterday. He just missed.
Julio Jones has still got it. He broke 20 miles an hour last night on that long run for a touchdown.
Matt Ryan's got the best weapons he's had in his career to some degree. And, I mean, I don't even want to – dude – a little Devontae Freeman hate. He's not that special, guys. Sorry. He's a low-end running back too. I mean, people were telling me in the 3rd round he's the best value, RB1 upside. But people don't remember is the year that he was RB1 was one of the worst fantasy football running back years we've had in the past 10 years.
Yeah, it's not like he had, he only had like 900 yards rushing out there.
You take Devontae Freeman's RB1 season, absolute RB1 season, and you plug into last year, he's barely a top 8 guy. And I've never bought into the Devontae Freeman thing. Yeah, he's good. He's a good football player, but that's not what I don't see it happening.
Very good. He had at one point,
and he's never going to have 20+ carries, it doesn't look like this year either. I mean, they're just not committed to running the ball like that.
No.
He's their running back 1. He's going to have some running back 1 weeks, and you can play him as a running back 1 if you want to, if you have to, if you believe. But I don't buy that.
If you believe, like the entrance to Hogwarts.
He's a flex guy for me at best. If I had him, I'd be trying to sell him to anybody I could. Thank God I don't have him anywhere because I didn't draft him anywhere because I've never believed in him. But that's a little offensive stuff there for you.
I had
guys.
Aaron Jones on the bench yesterday, so there's that.
Ooh. What a loser. Dude, you suck at fantasy football.
I'm going to win that
game. Put a big sign right
Don't listen to anything this idiot says. No.
I'm going to win that game. That's what's bad.
Oh, nice. Even better. That's stunting on him right there.
Yep.
I decided to pull off the whammy dime. Tyler Boyd and John Ross back to back. Both had 12 catches.
Dude, I had John Ross is legit. John Ross and Marquise Brown, they were waiver wire pickups last week, and I picked them up where I got them, and where I got them, I played them. I mean, they're going to be wide receiver 1 and 2 after this week, I think, just based on the numbers. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll have to double check to see what came through. But Tyler Boyd's a stud. John Ross is a stud. I'm a little worried about your boy Joe Mixon as well, but that's for another podcast someday.
Leave that guy alone. He's not. Yeah, he's not.
I think he has 40 rushing yards on the season.
Yeah, bro, he's not playing a whole lot. So overall, very good show, guys. Glad to keep doing this.
Yeah, we appreciate Expand the Box Score for having us. You guys, they got some good stats over there. # we got stats. Go check them out. They've got some other good podcasts on that network as well. We'll be going up there every Monday afternoon with the recaps from Sunday's games. We're still got some games tonight to watch, so follow us all on Twitter if you guys haven't. I'm at 50 Shades of Drunk, Jordan Rains. There you go. Jared's got, if you're on the YouTube, Jared's got him on the banner here for you. Steve is at the Dynasty Chef. Jarod is at Jarod Gray. And, we tweet about fantasy football all week long, every day. From sun up to sundown.
All day. Love this stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I appreciate you, and you guys looking good. Steve, we gotta get your chef hat back on.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, I'll get it back on. I'll get it out.
Girl.
Get it out of storage.
That's my boy.
All right, well, have a good one, guys. Hit us up, follow us. We'll put up some more content throughout the week, and good luck if you have a Monday night matchup. Hope you get that W.
All right, let's
That's
go.
the IDP 411.
Have a good day, guys.